Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Burke and Wills Hotel here in Toowoomba. Of course, we're also at the 2019 Action Pistol Nationals. Got a lovely live audience in tonight. Welcome along. Yeah, fantastic, fantastic. We've got plenty coming up on tonight's show. We've got a very special family we'll meet in a minute. Husband, wife and two children all shooting together, and a bit of banter there between the family as to who's the better shooter. We've got wraps from Metallic Silhouette, the IMSU Championship that happened over in New Zealand just recently. That was the Oceania Championship. WSPS World Titles wrap up as well. And naming the show, we're going to name the show. We're going to reveal the winner of that competition. And of course, joining me first up is President of Toowoomba Pistol Club, Brian Blakey. Welcome along to the show.
Thank you.
Well, welcome along. 60th anniversary of Toowoomba Pistol Club. You're hosting the Action Pistol Nationals in the next couple of days, and 12 months out, you'll be hosting a World Championship.
Yeah, that's exactly right. 18 months ago, we were thinking about our 60th anniversary coming up, and we thought, what can we do for our 60th anniversary? Of course, we had a 60th anniversary ISSF Open, but we thought we need to do something bigger. The Worlds didn't quite coincide with the 60th anniversary, so we decided to apply to hold the Nationals for Action Pistol at Toowoomba, and we got them, and that's what we do.
You're doing that. It's coming up, opening ceremony tomorrow, then competition right through till Saturday afternoon for a national championship, so it'll be pretty hot shooting competition out there over the next few days.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty full on. It's very tight squadding. We've got great numbers. It's good to see the competitors from around Australia supporting the club and supporting the match. Yeah, we've got good numbers, and it's going to be full on over the next few days.
So for our viewers out there who maybe don't understand what Action Pistol is, just take us through a match.
Well, the match will go. I'll take you through is the moving target event, and that's the one that sorts people out. Moving target event. We have a target that travels 60 feet in 6 seconds, and we shoot that from 10 yards, 15 yards, 20 and 25.
You've got to try and score 5 hits on the target as it goes.
6 hits.
6 hits on the target.
6 hits as it travels from left to right. From right to left and then left to right. So 12 shots at each distance, and that's the match that makes or breaks you, really.
Are they scored in hits, or is there like a 10 ring and a 9
so
and 8?
There's an X ring,
Yep.
10 ring, 8 and a 5. So you start getting out of that 10 ring, the points go down pretty quickly.
Pretty quickly. You got the falling plates as well?
Yeah, falling plates is always a good match to watch. So we shoot that from 10 to 25 yards. It's a 48 round match. We shoot 2 strings of 6 shots at each distance, and if you miss a plate, that's 10 points down, and you're not going to come back from that.
Yeah, it's pretty tough competition. 12 months away from now, we're going to have the World Championship, so we're going to see all again, but we're going to have a lot of international competitors.
That's exactly right. And you know, we have some of the best shooters in the world that shoot action here in Australia, and we certainly have competitors that are up there with the best.
I think we're going to have a world champion here this weekend competing.
Yeah, Sherry Blake. She'll arrive tomorrow afternoon. She's competing in Open, so she'll be shooting Thursday and Friday. Friday and Saturday, and so Sherry will arrive tomorrow, and she's the current world ladies champion.
Fantastic. And Bianchi Cup, that's one you guys go quite often to in the USA?
Yeah, that's the pinnacle of our sport. And any action shooter that hasn't been to Bianchi, it's their dream to go to Bianchi and compete.
It's the Everest of Action Pistol?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So you're quite instrumental. You're on the organising committee, obviously, for this championship and also for the World Championship. You're instrumental in getting that event here to Australia?
That's right. And John Gray assisted with the submission that we put in. The submission that we put in to be awarded the match as well. So John did a great job with the submission.
Is that the first time we're going to see a World Championship here in Australia for this discipline?
We haven't had a World Championship for this discipline since 2010. Craig will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the fourth time. It's the fourth time that we've had the World Championship here, but it hasn't been here for, well, when it comes back, it will be 10 years.
Yeah, long time ago, long time back. So we'd be looking, obviously, selections out of this national championship and other competitions for that national team come the World Championships?
Absolutely, yeah. So
that's why it's going to be so fierce, because this is a very important nationals. It's going to count a lot towards an Australian team selection.
It counts towards Australian team selection for Bianchi, and then again for the Worlds next year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very tight competition, and it's going to be really good. More than just the competition, though, with action shooters, I find that each nationals, it's almost like a family reunion. We, we're all friends, and to get together for the nationals every year and catch up, it's just a great atmosphere.
Yeah, it's a reoccurring theme in pistol shooting across all the different disciplines, is that camaraderie and that friendship and that mateship and family. We're going to have a family here very shortly, members of your club,
yep.
4 of them shooting all together, so we're going to have them on very shortly.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. Let's have a look. We've got some range footage. Catch you there. You guys have done a lot of work, obviously got the range in order here for the Nationals, and let's have a look at the range footage. Yeah, so there we go. There's the range. Got the flags up there. Opening ceremony coming up. A little bit of respite from the heat. There's a canteen out there. Lunches will be available to buy that during the championship. Toowoomba Pistol Club 60th anniversary. It's going to be fantastic. Well, we're back on, and thank you, Brian. We're going to have Brian back in very, very shortly just to answer some questions from the crowd. But now joining me, the Gray family. We've got John and Sheila next to me here, and Caitlin and Oliver there, the 2 kids. Walk them along. We'll start with you, Sheila, because you've got the microphone first. You're a little bit nervous, I know, but what a great family get-together. Get everybody out there, the range, and compete against each other. A bit of banter, a little bit of dinner table bragging rights.
Oh, look, most definitely. We have some inter-family competitions related to who gets to pick dinner, where we're going for dinner, or cash incentives if necessary, just to try to, I guess, make it a bit more exciting and get some healthy competition going between the 4 of us, which we obviously can then take on to more, bigger and better competitions, and sort of have that will to win and a bit of extra, incentive to compete.
No, we're going to hand the microphone down there to Caitlin, because I spoke to Caitlin outside and I said, who's the best shooter? And she put her hand straight up there. Caitlin, why are you a better shooter than the rest of the family?
Well, I'm not a better shooter than my dad, but I got a better score than him at the last Open we went to for air pistols, so...
What's going on there, Oliver? You got a response for that one?
Yeah, the air pistol, I may have been a bit slacking in training coming up to that match. Probably need to do a bit more training for that one.
Yeah. And you shoot here, obviously, in Toowoomba, and you guys travel around a little bit. I know you've been down to the Brisbane International Shooting Centre. That was the place that hosted the Commonwealth Games. So you've competed down there as well?
Yes, yeah. It was a very nice range there.
Very nice range. Let's hand over to your dad here. Who's the catalyst for getting us all into shooting here, getting the family in? Was it started with you?
Actually, it was something that Sheila and I started together. We thought it was a good activity for us to both try out. We've sort of been interested in shooting for a long time, since I was a kid, I suppose, and there aren't too many sports where you can kind of compete and do it together. And so we started probably, just coming up to 5 years ago, I suppose. Did a come and try day at the club. Quite enjoyed it. I've taken it to it admittedly a bit more than Sheila has, become a little bit obsessive like I do with a few things. So I shoot a fair bit, but all of us have definitely enjoyed doing it, and the kids essentially when they turned 11, they started shooting as well.
Yeah. So you mainly shoot ISSF, so you've got the 10 metre air pistol, 25 metre pistol as well, rapid fire?
Yeah, exactly right. So we tend to have a few personal preferences. I try to shoot pretty much all of them. I think Oliver would rather shoot rapid fire more than anything else because it's over fast, fairly quick. Caitlin, as we were saying, is pretty good in the air pistol. Sheila's probably more 25 metre pistol and that sort of stuff.
Okay, so if you go on a teams event, you guys are going to be hard to beat.
Well, we all need a fair bit more training. Plenty of enthusiasm, but not quite enough training.
How many days a week do you guys get out the range, or is it just when competitions come up? Do you compete regularly?
Well, the kids and I, Sheila works pretty long hours, so the kids and I generally go on a Thursday night. We do air pistol match on a Thursday night, so that's pretty good. I'd normally go on a Saturday, and then if we can organise the calendars between the four of us, which is a bit of a challenge with two teenagers in the house, we usually shoot together, often on a Sunday morning or a Sunday afternoon, and that's when the sort of challenges kick in.
Yeah, so let's go back to Caitlin. Do you guys do other sport as well besides pistol shooting?
Yeah, so I play netball on Saturdays during winter, and Oliver plays rugby.
The rugby, how's the rugby comp going out here? Have you been watching the Rugby World Cup?
No, not really. Not much.
No, you missed out. Australia was going really well until the other day, so don't worry about that.
Japan's doing pretty well, I heard.
Japan was doing well until the other day they got knocked out. But so when's your next competition? Yeah.
Well, me and Dad are heading down to Lismore this weekend.
For a 10 metre air pistol?
Yeah, and I'm also shooting 25 metre pistol.
Right. And what sort of scores are you shooting over that? What sort of averages?
460-ish in air pistol and low 400s in 25 metre.
Okay. And so you've been in it for a few years, so there's always increments and a bit of training, and then you'll get better over time. And do you have ambitions in the family here to represent Australia, to maybe get to that level? Yeah.
Kind of.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it's early days. I mean, you guys are teenagers, so a long time in your career here. You can shoot right up until you're a grandparent, 70s, 80s.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. For the kids, it's probably more of an activity that Dad makes them do on occasion rather than something that they're enthusiastic about. But they're definitely getting into the competitions a little bit more often. I'm definitely the one more motivated to try and get the scores up, but over time they're improving. And one thing I've had in mind is, you see a lot of shooters start in their teens, get keen till they're in their 20s, and then give it away for a few years. And I thought if they get a start now, then if they take it back up at 30, they've got that groundwork. They've learned how to shoot properly, had the right training, that sort of stuff. So they'll be able to do it later on in life if they choose to.
It is one of those wonderful sports you can drop out and drop back in again. Life takes over sometimes. University, schooling, jobs, careers, those sorts of things take over, and then you can come back to it when you get some more time. So, Sheila, final word from you. Do you bribe the kids with chores? They've got to do chores before they can get out to the pistol range?
No, they've got to do chores if they stay home and don't go to the pistol range.
Oh, okay, so there's plenty of incentive to get out there.
So there's plenty of incentive to get out there. But to be frank, they're usually pretty good. They're probably there more often than I am. I'm the slacker in the family, probably. But, yeah.
Well, it's fantastic having you on the show here. Round of applause here for our Gray family, great competitors. So as I alluded to earlier in the show, we had some competition happening overseas in New Zealand. It was the IMSU Oceania Metallic Silhouette Championships. And we spoke to Judy Harding just before the team went away. So let's have a look what Judy had to say.
My first husband died very suddenly in '88. I had three boys, 8, 5 and 3. And I was the secretary of the Pistol Club at the time, and in the next year they decided they wanted to run a silhouette competition. So being secretary, I had to give them a hand, and one bloke said to me, "Would you like to shoot a match?" So I shot the match and did quite well, and thought, I could quite enjoy this, It seems pretty easy to me. You've just got to lay down and point it in the right direction, and they'll all fall over. There's that was '89, and then in 1990 I shot my first major nationals competition. I actually won the ladies section of that, did really well. And I shot all the way through till 2000 when the World Championships were here in Brisbane, where I met, I knew John from Narrabri because I'd travelled to Narrabri quite often to shoot, and he came up there, and he and another friend actually paid my entry fee to shoot in the World Championships, and I made the Australian team the following year because of them paying my entry and giving me an extra match for the year. And then the following year, John and I got engaged, and we got married in 2002, and so we've been a partnership ever since then. World Championships next year are in Sweden at Ordskolvik, which is about 700 kilometres north of Stockholm, which is it's a long drive for us. We're only about 500 k's short of the Arctic Circle, actually. And we went there in 2013 because actually my husband made the team that year. So they said it was the first time the team manager actually got to sleep with somebody. So it was quite a joke amongst the team members. Australia are getting better and better on the world stage. Matt Sears won last year in Finland, took out the big boy aggregate, and quite often the guys, Kim will take out top guns, David when he's on the team, and Glenn's he's only been in the team a couple of times now, but he's getting better and better each time. So I sometimes wonder if that's why France didn't hold the World Cup this year, because we beat France on a very regular basis now, and they probably didn't want us there this year. But we quite often win one aggregate. We might come second in the small ball aggregate and come, say, second or third in the field pistol. But no, Australia's just getting better and better.
Well, there you saw a little bit about Judy Harding and how she got into her metallic silhouette shooting. Of course, she's the manager now of the Australian team. Took the team away to New Zealand. I spoke to her earlier this afternoon, and she said it was really trying conditions over there in New Zealand. Very dark, very stormy. They had squally winds and rain across the range, and the guys shot fantastically. That really, the Australian competitors really did the country proud. I think we've got a graphic here with some of their results. Couple of possibles there. We did really well in big bore, small bore and field pistol right across the range. The guys did extremely well. Obviously there, Mick Arden winning revolver, Glenn Anderson production, the big bore, then Glenn Anderson backed it up with revolver and small bore. Scotty Dawson picked one up there. Field pistol, Glenn Anderson, and picking up both there in production unlimited. So the team went really, really well in challenging conditions over in New Zealand. So we congratulate them, and well, fantastic going forward. Of course, they've got a World Championship coming up, and some of the selection criteria is getting very, very tight. Judy said to me it's going to come right down to the last couple of competitions and who gets the best scores, who gets to go off to Europe for the World Championships later next year. Also, we had WSPS World Championships out at the Sydney International Shooting Centre. That's the World Shooting Parasports World Championship. We had two of our Aussie competitors there, and we spoke to Chris Pitt after his 25-metre competition. He unfortunately didn't qualify for the Tokyo Paralympics out of that competition, but still did the country proud. Let's have a look what Chris had to say. Chris Pitt, Australian competitor here at the World Championships. You've entered the competition today in the 25-metre, just missing out on the final.
Yeah, my 25-metre match was it was within reach, and lost the plot in the second half, and yeah, just missed out. It was very disappointing, but it's over and done with now.
Yeah, you were consistent early, 96, 95, then 90 in the precision. Probably let you down a little bit in that first series.
Yeah, that was, I think I got a little bit ahead of myself in precision. I started well, and yeah, obviously I think I skipped to the end bit there, and which is a big no-no.
Rapid fire, which is your strength, you finished with a 97, but the two previous rounds kind of let you down a little bit.
My rapid fire half, yes, it is normally my best half, and the first two series was just unbelievably poor. Come home with a normal 97, so that really let me down. To come home with a strong score after shooting poorly, for me it's basically it's almost I've given up, and just it's just I relax, and when I relax and I don't try, it just comes naturally. It just comes. So with pistol shooting, I find the harder you try, the result isn't quite as good as if you just let it happen.
Well, there's Chris Pitt, and of course we also spoke to Rowan Dorr. He competed in both three events for him actually, the 25 metre, the 50 metre and the 10 metre air pistol. First national championships or first international competition for Rowan Dorr. He was a little bit nervous. Let's hear what he had to say for himself. Your first world championship, how's the feeling? What's your big takeaway from it?
Oh, a bit more practice, I reckon. Yeah, a lot more. Yeah, just saying the level of the world-class shooters here is amazing. Really puts it in perspective where you need to be to compete with them.
Well, they've all been in the same place as you. They've all gone to their first world championship. They've all started somewhere. So it's a learning curve. You're very early in your shooting career, so you've got a long way to go. But it's nice to measure yourself against the best in the world.
Oh, it's a bit nerve-wracking. I was shooting 50 metres and the guy beside me was a silver medalist in the last Olympics, so that was a little bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's hard, obviously, you can't just be in your own bubble. You look down the range, you see these names, you see these people. For you, what's the highlight of being here representing Australia at a World Championship?
Representing Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that proud to wear the uniform, and hopefully I did the uniform with a little bit of pride.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, your first time in, you've got to try and feel comfortable in the environment. It's a step up from what you're used to doing. And I think you said to me a couple of days ago, you normally train by yourself. So to be in a range full of people is sometimes takes a little bit to get used to.
Incredible difference.
Yeah.
Oh, just knowing that you're competing against the world's best was pretty hard to get my head around.
Yeah, and obviously watching the finals, watching these top competitors, do you take something away from them? Do you sort of look at what they do and think I could maybe implement that into my own?
Yeah, well, that's one of the advantages of coming to an event like this, so you can watch those people and learn from it and hopefully move up.
So Rowan Dorr there, a young shooter, early on his journey in this sport. He'll be much better for the experience, and next time he goes off to World Championship he can just concentrate a little bit more on his shooting and be a little less maybe taken up by all the stars he's sitting there shooting next to, Olympic silver medalists and world champions and reigning Olympic champions, all there competing on the line. Fabulous competition, that one at Sydney International Shooting Centre. Craig Ginger's in the background there in our live audience. He's one of the men that runs the show there. Mate, Craig, why don't you come up into the front for us, buddy? We just spot him out in the back, and of course we've got Brian Blakey back with us as well. So Craig, welcome up.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to take some questions from the crowd in a minute, but tell us about the World Championship down at Sydney National Shooting Centre. You were involved there. You work at the range, and obviously you've also competed at the top level here in Action Pistol.
Yeah, I'm the operations coordinator for the Sydney National Shooting Centre, and also the newest range that the government's built in New South Wales, which is the Southern Highlands Regional Shooting Complex. So the WSPS was a pretty mammoth effort with 400 competitors with all various disabilities coming in, bumping in at all hours of the night. Made it tough, and you've got a huge amount of gear they bring in, secondary wheelchairs, number of firearms, all the gear, all the helpers, everything like that. It's a 650 people, I think, in the venue.
Yeah, it was a big event. It's a beautiful venue.
Big event. Yeah, so it's a lot of work. We upgraded the shotgun range just beforehand to meet the requirements for disability. They had shotgun for the first time, so we had to reconcrete a lot of the areas, which is a little bit like Brian trying to get the mover ready. A couple of days before, we had guys getting concrete done just before the event started, so that we met the requirements, so it was easy for everyone to get around on the range. So yeah, it was a big event. It was tough.
And the other one, introduction for the first time, was the visually impaired rifle.
The VI was really, really good. You know, for those that don't know, the visually impaired is actually shooting for the blind. So we had a number of guys from competitors from all over the world, and they work with a system on sound. So
yeah, it's a low pitch sound goes to a high pitch sound as they get closer to the centre of the target.
Exactly.
And they've got to go left, right, and up, down, and it makes a different sound as they hit the centre.
Correct.
And if they can get the trigger off at that moment,
they hit it
because it's
they probably shoot better than most of us with eyes, because the thing gets in the road when you're shooting. Our eyes get in the road and we bang the shot off.
Yeah, they've got 50 seconds to find the centre of the target, so it's not that easy. And we watched the president of the International Paralympic Committee had a try shoot, and he did some pistol with Joe Capitanoff, our national development
Yep.
coach, and then he tried the VI, and Joe tried the VI as well. It looks really difficult.
And when the sound was on, because they have the sound on.
That little speaker. Normally they have headset
It was
on.
unbelievable.
Yeah. So have a little
how close
speaker.
it got, yeah. So that was, again, another event with a lot more competitors that we haven't had to deal with disability before. But that's the thing about pistol shooting, from 12 years of age to 80, you can still get in, whether you've got a disability or not, you can get in and have a go.
Yeah. So from the crowd, anyone got any questions about Action Pistol, to these gentlemen, about competing and about the championships coming up? Do I have to walk out the crowd and grab someone? Let's go down and get a question. Come on. Here we go. You said no, so let's go over here. Okay, you're out here competing in the championships. You've been out on the range practicing at all?
Yeah, I have been at the range practicing. I'm just after the date for the Worlds next year. Have we got one yet?
The dates for the Worlds next year. Let me go back over here because I've only got the one mic. Dates for the Worlds next year.
Yeah, the World Championships next year will be the 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th of October. And it hasn't actually been announced yet, but the weekend before the World Championships, Queensland will be hosting the State Championships. So we'll have a 2-day State Championships, 2-day break, and then straight into the World Championships. So a good week of shooting.
It's a good week of shooting, and obviously here for your national championships, the Burke and Wills Hotel are looking after us, and you're hoping you can do a deal with them for the World Championship, have the competitors stay here and be a great little hub within the city.
Absolutely, I've been talking with the Burke and Wills about locking out some rooms for us, and we're looking at the Burke and Wills has a number of function rooms here. It would be a great venue for us to have a competitor social and a presentation dinner, and just to make this the hub for the World Championships. It'd be a great venue for that.
And important, the tourist dollars that events bring in, not only the nationals, but an international event, people coming from all over the world, that influx of tourist dollars is so important to the economy.
Yeah, and and Toowoomba in particular, around that time of year, is very busy on the tourist scene. The beginning of October is just after what Toowoomba has Carnival of Flowers. During the Carnival of Flowers week in Toowoomba, you can't get accommodation here. The whole town books out. The town will still be looking good when it comes to the World Championships.
Craig, have you competed on this range before?
Yeah.
You've been here before. Are you still in the range? You've represented Australia in the Action Pistol team. Are you looking for selection again? Are you trying to get your scores up and have another crack at it?
Oh, you're always trying to have a go at it. Doesn't matter where you sit on the ladder. And the way our selection criteria works, it comes down to this match to decide. So you have to do so many events during the year, but the Nationals is mandatory. So you make a little mistake here, it can put you right out of the game. So this is where everyone comes in and trains hard to be ready for this match.
Ready to go for the match, yeah. Well, best of luck with the start of the competition and as it runs here in the Nationals. And obviously your team putting together the World Championship. There's a lot of work to be done in the next 12 months to get everything in place and get all our competitors here.
Yeah, well, the members of the club have put in a huge effort preparing for the national championships. We've expanded our prac and barricade range. We've expanded our plate range, and we've just finished on Monday totally rebuilding our mover. So for range facilities, the range facilities are all there. But yes, at least we won't have to build anything before the Worlds. We're ready for that with the equipment we've got. But yeah, there's a lot to be done with the organisation side.
Fantastic. Best of luck with the competition. Now, did everyone in the room here vote for the name of the show? Yes, no? No? Yeah, some people voted, some people didn't. We're going to exclusively reveal here for you people and everyone else, of course, watching at home, wherever you're watching around the planet on our live stream. The official name is The Range Report. That's the one that won the voting. And the first person that suggested that, and we were going to try and get her on the phone, but we haven't been able to get a hold of her, Kirsty Kelly there from Tasmania is our winner, and she will get that signed Australian shirt with all the national team's signature framed. She can put that up at home behind the bar, or she can take it down to her pistol club and she can put it on the wall there, and that's a great prize to have in your house. Well, that just about wraps up episode 5 here of The Range Report. First one is The Range Report, but episode 5 of our Pistol Show. Of course, wherever you're watching, make sure you like us on your socials and share it with your friends and grow the crowd, grow the community. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you again soon.